This class is going to be one of the most important on our channel, especially if you're looking for a job or if you're planning on looking for a job in the near future. Job interviews may look very different in the United States than they do in your native country. So it's very important to be prepared beforehand. Today, we're going to learn 10 questions you need to have answers prepared for before any job interview. Most, if not all of these, will be asked to you at one point or another. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Question number 1. How long have you worked at your present job? This can be a short answer. You could simply say, I've been at my current job for blank years. Let's repeat that. How long have you worked at your current or present job? Current and present mean the same thing. They mean right now. Answer in a short way. Something like, I've been at my current job for 3 years is a perfect answer. I've been at my current job for 3 years. You can also say, I've worked at my current job for 3 years. Question number 2. How many languages do you speak? How many languages do you speak? I speak Spanish and English fluently, but I plan to learn more soon. Do you see how my answer was short and concise? But it also gave an idea of something I hope to improve on in the future. You could say the same thing. I speak Spanish and English, but I hope to learn more soon. You could also say, I speak Spanish and I'm improving my English, if you feel like you're still working on your English skills. This next question, I think, comes up most often of all. What are your strengths? What are your strengths? This is when you would say something you feel like you're really good at, something you feel like is very strong. I believe some of my strengths are my ability to work well with others, for example. So the beginning of your sentence would be, I believe some of my strengths are, and then you can make a list. Or you could say, I believe my biggest strength is my ability to work with others. Some strengths could be your friendliness, your attention to details, your education, your ability to work with others. Maybe it's organization or work-life balance. Anything can be a strength as long as you phrase it as something you feel like is both important to you and something that you're very good at. Let's move on to the next question. What are your weaknesses? This is typically a follow-up question to what are your strengths? I believe some of my weaknesses are blank. Give an example that won't lower your chances of getting a job, but that will show that you can admit weakness. Some good examples are, one of my weaknesses is that I take on too much at once, or I tend to take things personally. You don't want to say things that are very obviously negative. Don't say things like, one of my weaknesses is that I love to be on my phone during work, or one of my weaknesses is that I don't like working with other people. Those are things that are very clearly negative and won't allow you to get the job, because most employers want someone who will be focused and work well with others. The next question is equally as important. This is, what is your past job experience? What is your past job experience? You could answer this multiple ways. You could be literal and say, I have worked at, and then make a list of places you've worked. I have worked at the bank. I have worked at a jewelry store and a children's school. Or you could answer with what you're experienced in. Like, my past job experience includes organization, customer service, technology, and helping others. This would be a more general picture without listing literally where you worked. You could also say something like, I have worked at many places where I took on many different roles and learned a lot, like organization, working with children, and customer service. This question could be answered in many different ways. Okay, our next question is, describe some of your current responsibilities. This one could be similar to the last one, where you could answer both literally and you could answer more generally. So you could say something like, at my current job, I wait tables, I talk to customers, and I make sure that they're happy with their orders. Or you could say something like, my current responsibilities include customer satisfaction, working with other staff members and keeping the peace at work, organizing my time, and making sure everything is attended to. Do you see how I showed you two very similar things, but one was more descriptive than the other? Next question is, tell me about your education. Tell me about your education. This is a great time to speak about any education you might have. This could be certificates you've done. This could be extended learning. This could also be courses that you've taken online. It's great to give any example of any education you have, even if you're not working in that field currently. For example, my mom, when she moved to the United States, she worked in the airport as a concierge. But in Colombia, where we're from, she worked as an accountant. When she would go in for a job interview, she would be sure to let them know that she had degrees in other topics so that they would see that she was an educated, well-rounded person. Don't be afraid to brag about yourself just a little bit. Our next question is, give me some specific examples of responsibility at past jobs. This one is similar to a previous question we did. Give me specific examples of responsibility at past jobs. This is great to go into specifics. You could pick one thing and give a lot of details, or you could give many responsibilities that you held. For example, I worked at a jewelry store. There, I was in charge of opening up in the mornings, cleaning the display cases, showing customers jewelry, and designing custom jewelry. You could also say, I worked at a jewelry store where I designed custom jewelry with customers. It was great to be able to work with them one-on-one and create and cultivate a closer relationship. Do you see how one is one responsibility with a lot of details, and the other one is many responsibilities with little details? You can decide what you feel is the most important or the best way to answer. Next question, which position would you like to have? Or they may ask, what position are you applying for? Or what position are you most interested in? This question, of course, is completely up to your discretion. You can answer it however you feel is the most appropriate for the job you're interviewing for. I would like to be a manager. Or, I'm applying for the position of assistant. Or, I'm applying for the telemarketer position. Be specific and be clear. Don't say and definitely don't say I'm not sure. You want to show your potential employer confidence. The next question that might be really important in an interview is, what are your future goals? You could also answer this question in a multitude of ways. You could say what your goals are at the company you're applying for, or you could say what your goals are in general for your professional life. You could say something like, I hope one day to be able to have the experience to start my own company in the future. Or you could say, I hope to be able to have a long career here and see where this company can take my career. Those would be great and appropriate answers to show your future employer that you have ambitions. I hope that you've taken an opportunity to write down these questions so that you'll be able to practice. I hope that you prepare your answers, and feel free to write any of them that you might have in the comments down below, and I can go through them and correct them and make some suggestions. Great job today. I hope that you learned a lot and that you're able to use these skills soon. See you next time.